Hi, everyone, and welcome to our live preview and demonstration of Acumatica. My name is Stephen Phelps, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. We're excited to see so many attendees, especially those using Microsoft Dynamics GP. With the recent end-of-life announcement, we want to make sure you're aware of any modern ERPs or accounting softwares that can help move your business forward. For today's session, we brought in two of our very own experts, Steve Erickson and Lisa Curl. They'll start by sharing a quick update to what's happening around Dynavistics, then dive deeper into Acumatica's features and walk you through a live demonstration. A quick note before we begin, this webinar is in listen-only mode, so if you have any questions, then please write them in the chat box, and we'll answer near the end of the presentation, or we'll follow up with you after the webinar. We have a lot to cover in just 30 minutes, so I'll now pass it on to Steve.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for coming to today's webinar. We're going to go through and first talk about what's going on at Dynavistics and let you know, or if you don't already, that Dynavistics was acquired by Acumen Information Systems in September of 2024. Accounting software experts in consulting, implementation, and support of the Dynamics GP. They added Acumatica to our portfolio list after the end of life announcement of Microsoft Dynamics GP. We're going to walk you through the transition to a new ERP and accounting systems. Now is the time to consider a scalable, modern ERP option, but not all software fits certain industries. We are going to start with the story of Acumatica. As they say, born in the cloud this century. The company was founded with steep business technology expertise and ERP in their DNA. Since its inception as 2008, Acumatica has chartered its course in three main ways. It focuses on addressing the needs of small to mid-sized businesses to build capabilities and drive innovation that help organizations scale and grow. It pursues a channel model, relying on partners with specialized experience to focus on sales and development, freeing Acumatica to invest in product development. And lastly, it was born in the cloud, disrupting the market with modern ERP to meet today's challenges. The cloud enables Acumatica to deliver high availability, remote collaboration, mobility, security, and open standards. The licensing model, there are two types, but the main licensing model is a consumption-based model that allows for unlimited users, and you can extend that to partners and customers. So your accountant can have a login into your Acumatica. It also offers flexible deployment models. You can be in Acumatica's cloud and have them take care of security and updates. Or if it's advantageous, you can put it in your own controlled public or private cloud. You have the choice. Here's just a little bit of how Acumatica can manage the entire business on a single future-proof cloud platform with advanced authentications, role-based security, multi-language, multi-currency, web integrations, mobile frameworks, report analytics, and AI and machine learning, all in the base product. These are not add-ons. They are all in the base product. And here are a few of those embedded integrations. You see Amazon listed here. You see FedEx and Easy Post and Stamps.com and other softwares included. Not listed in here, but recently announced has been ADP and Salesforce with native integrations into Acumatica. My favorite is the customer bill of rights. This is 10 things that Acumatica commits to their users, their customers, on what they are going to do. Number two is the unlimited user access without having to purchase additional licensing. Number four is fair pricing and agreements without long-term commitments. And number eight is own and access your data now and always in full in a usable format. Now, number eight, you would think would be, a duh moment, but many of our competitors do not offer this without additional fees. Acumatica also comes in a standard edition that gives you kind of everything that you would expect: general ledger, receivables, payables, inventory, order entry, and purchasing. But it also has industry editions. So they tweak it for manufacturing, construction, distribution, retail, and most recently, professional services. And now let's move into that demo.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Steve. I want to take about the next 10 minutes for a high-level overview on navigating Acumatica and showing its intuitive ease of use. So let's start here at the URL. Acumatica is 100% browser-based. It will optimize for the device that you're on, whether that's a computer, tablet, or smartphone. And I'm going to show you also a mobile app after this. Regardless if you are accessing hosted by Acumatica or on-premise, this is the interface, and it's available anytime, anywhere you have internet. As Steve mentioned, Acumatica is role-based security. Security is granted by roles or multiple roles assigned to the user. So in this case, I'm logged in as admin. The admin is a super user. It has basically all rights to the system. Also mentioned is that we have the ability to be multi-company with branches. So you see a hierarchy here. And it's also multi-currency, has intercompany and inter-branch transaction processing, as well as consolidations. So here I'm logged into Revision 2 products, the product wholesale location. You can see that by a check mark. In the background, it's configured to have a blue color scheme with the Acumatica logo. So you can change that per company so that it's more useful to you to identify which company you're in, as well as saying which company am I logging into to start with as a default. We have a powerful universal search, which is really helpful when you're either migrating to a new system or adding or accessing infrequently used functions. The one I like to use is 1099. So 1099 you do once a year, sometimes forget how it's processed. So if I type in 1099, I'm not only going to get the menu items, but I can get the help topics as well. So if I can look at the help topics, everything there is for 1099, we can further drill into the hyperlinks and it can explain how to process the 1099s. We can also use this. As you see, we have menu items, transactions, help topics, and files. So maybe even files. If there was 1099 somewhere in the file name, it will return that as a result as well. But one thing that shows well is when you're looking at a customer. So I'm going to pick on my favorite customer, Alta Ace. Typing in Alta Ace, I'm on the phone with them. I need to talk about some transactions that they have, and you can see all the transactions that are here for Alta Ace, as well as any files with Alta Ace. And you see there's a credit application here. So really easy to navigate and hyperlink, and I can open right to that from here. So this is the Acumatica workspace in a whole, but let's go ahead and hit the home. So this logo becomes your link to go home, and my home screen configured for the admin user is a customer view dashboard. So we'll talk about the dashboards in a bit, but let's go through the menu. So on the left-hand side, this is the menu pane of all modules that are pinned for common access by this user. So I can change this up. You can see there's more. Like I have a lot pinned here. I don't need to have them all, but they are pinned. So if I wanted to do fixed assets, I could just pin it and you see it becomes visible on the screen. If I no longer want it on my screen, I can just remove it. So typically you're setting this up once for your user ID, and then it will become the default for you. So let's go through and look at a specific workspace. So let's look at payables. So in the payables workspace, you can see there are groups and functions within those groups, but that's not everything you can do in payables. If you see in the middle of the screen, there's a show all. So if I expand that, it will expand to all the functions that are available in all the groups within payables. It's quite busy. You know, maybe not want to look at that as you're navigating the system normally. So I'm going to have my default be show less, which is the more frequently used functions in the system. Also up here, you're going to see blue boxes. They're quick tiles that I put there. So you can configure quick tiles on this in your workspace and also give them names so I can rename them. And lastly, you see on the side here, you see these are gold stars. If I hover over a function, you'll see a star. I can star that, and that's going to be added to my favorites group. So maybe it makes sense for me just to pull out the transactions that I frequently use on a daily basis and favorite them. That allows me to go ahead and just operate from the favorites workspace instead. So really quite flexible for you. So let's go ahead and go back to the dashboard. I'm going to go home. It's going to take me back to my home landing page, what happens to be the customer dashboard, the customer view dashboard. So in this dashboard, I want to talk about a couple things real quick. You see we have different widgets. These widgets could be scorecards. They can be bars and charts and lists and queries, or lists and queries, whatever. Then you can go ahead and even, these are very configurable by user. So it doesn't really take somebody technical to do this. You can go into the configuration and add widgets. So it's an unlimited amount of widgets that you can add to a dashboard. So if we go in here to add a new widget, you see we have charts, data tables, embedded pages, headers, KPIs, links, so we can link to a different part of the workspace, as well as forms, pivot tables, Power BI, trend KPIs, and wiki pages. So I can change up the colors, the frequency of refresh, the layout of my dashboards, and have it become my default. So let's take it out of design mode just to talk about one other nice feature here. You see there's a filter available for this. So if I have this populated, it's going to filter for a specific customer. So let's find our favorite customer, Ulta, and it's now going to refresh the data with just Ulta. And from here, I'm also able to drill down. So for Ulta Ace, there are orders to ship filtered for Ulta Ace. Let's take a look at the other dashboard. So that was just my landing page, one specific dashboard. There are many more dashboards in the system. Let's expand. There's dozens here, as well as they can be added and configured. One nice other type is a visual flow. So this dashboard specifically is configured to be different forms or different places within the workspaces. So maybe I have a user that I want this visual flow to be their default landing page, and from there they can go ahead and access bills and invoices from there and function from the visual flow workflow. So let's go home. And let me turn and show you the mobile app. So I'm going to minimize this. In the background, I'm already sharing, or I hope to be sharing. Okay, on my device, it's asking me to unlock it. Okay, so I am sharing my mobile device. This is an Android, so I have the Android Acumatica app installed. I'm logged in and sitting on the main screen of Acumatica for the same admin user. So if you notice here, I'm also in the same company branch, and if I go down, just looking at that main screen, you see I have the ability to also edit it and see what I want to default on the screen when I log in. And looking up here, you see we do have the KPI widget. I'm able to drill down from these widgets and see further detail. Then if I scroll over, I can even further filter that. I've set it up to be able to filter. Maybe I want to see just the ones at over 90. I can drill from there and also further drill into more information about that customer ID. If I go further down in the workspace, you see I have some transactions where I have a warehouse management that I can actually do pick, pack, ship, and functions from the mobile app, as well as enter some transactions. We'll come back to the time and expense, but let's go visit a dashboard. So these are the same dashboards that were available in the browser that you can see in the app. So if I have a salesperson, I want to see I'm admin, so I put a lot of dashboards on here, but maybe I'm working with some open tasks that I have. So I can drill down and work from those tasks as well as add more. And these tasks will then become available on the browser as well. So looking down at the dashboard, I have those same widgets for the scorecards. I have some graphics here. I have some charts and the same information that I can drill down if I have it configured to do that. So let's go back into that time and expense transaction just to show you a transaction. So maybe I want to enter an expense receipt, and everything that I'm doing in a smartphone, or usually do from a smartphone, I can do in the app. So maybe I want to add a new receipt. And in this receipt, I'm going to add, whoops, create new. Clicked on it too many times. I'm going to take the picture. Take a picture, attach it, do everything I normally do. Maybe I want to speak to this. I bought supplies because Steve asked me to. I can pick my supplies account, add the amount, go ahead and save it. And if I go back to my browser, so let me minimize this, go back to the browser, and back to, I should have in my favorites already favorited, I did the expense receipts, and you can see the one I just added, complete with all the information I put in here, as well as the attachment. So that's the workspace in a really high level overview. I'm going to stop sharing and go back to Steve that's going to show you a couple transactions. But I hope that brief overview demonstrated how intuitive, flexible, let me stop sharing, and how configurable Acumatica is.
There you are. I've shared my screen. If you can't see it, throw it in the chat, but I will assume everybody can see it. We are going to go through a couple of transactions to show you some of the features those transactions may have. The first one's going to be PO workflow. So we are going to log in as a purchasing agent. And when we get there, the purchasing agent is going to be working in purchase orders. We're going to create a new purchase order, hit one of those blue tiles at the top that Lisa talked about to create a new purchase order. So here we can come in. It's already grabbed a bunch of default information. Notice it knows who's logged in. It notices the date, and it starts in an on hold process. And so then we can come into the vendor. We can either type in part of the name, or we can use the finder and find the vendor as such. You can do the same thing with the inventory IDs. You can open it up in a browser form and look for things. We're going to grab this AA machine 1, this injection molding machine right here. And we are going to bring that in, let it collect its information, and come in and say we're ordering 1. So now that I've got the basic purchase order in place, I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then I'm going to remove the hold. Now remember, I am just the purchasing person. So when I remove the hold on this, because of wanting other people to approve it, or because of its dollar value, its status is changed to pending approved. So let's go take a look at the pending approved function. So now we've signed out as our purchasing agent, and we're logging in as the purchasing manager. So when we log in as the purchasing manager, we have them coming into their dashboard. And the one thing we'll see in their dashboard is the order pending approval. So if the purchasing manager clicks on it, they can see which purchase order is waiting for approvals. They can click on the number, the highlighted hyperlink, and come into that purchase order, see that it's an injection molding machine, and they can go ahead and approve that purchase order. And then they can just simply close the screen, come back to their dashboard, and we see that the order pending approval is now removed because they've approved that. So let's go take a look at how that works. Using our advanced search, we can come in and find assignments and approval maps here. And the one that we are running right now is the PO2 step approval. And so we can bring this up and take a look at, there's an approved by accountant, approved by an executive. We can list who is approving things. We can put conditions on that approval. So it has to equal on hold, but the approval ID has to be empty. If we go up to the executive, it has to be greater than $5,000. So that is not only the way it's set up, but you can make changes to this. This is configurable by you, the user. And so you could change this to say, well, I don't want to see things unless it's $10,000, or I want to add a third level of approvals if it's over the $5,000. These are things that you can do. Now, of course, we will help you do that if you choose, but Acumatica allows the user to do an unbelievable amount of what is referred to as codeless modifications to it. And this is an example of a codeless modification. Okay, next we're going to move on to sales orders. And so in sales orders, we are going to open up. Yeah, we're going to leave the last one because I didn't save it. So it's telling me I didn't save it. And this is a list of all the sales orders that are outstanding. If I want to add one from this list, I just hit the plus sign at the top of the screen, and it will go ahead and open a new sales order for me. And again, just like in purchase orders, it will populate all the default information that it knows. Right now, it's a new order. It knows the date. It knows the currency. And we are going to come in and look at or grab a customer here. And so now it's retrieving all of the customer information. Oh, just had the cursor in the wrong place. Sorry about that. All right, we are going to grab the Acer computer, which is right at the top of the list. And we're going to go ahead and order one of those. Our customer is ordering one of those. So we've entered the order for the customer, and we've gone ahead and saved it. So now this is probably moving from the order entry person down to the shipping person, or the order entry person is here and they are going to talk about how the customer wants it shipped. Now you can pick a ship V, but it also has shopping for rates. And so you can come in here, refresh your rates, and it will pop in the available rates based on how you set up, who you have shipping things with. We're going to select this UPS priority at $16.20, and we'll go ahead and say OK. And this will now stick that in the ship via. We can also highlight if it's a residential, if we're putting insurance on it, or anything else. I'll go ahead and save that, assuming now it's going down to the shipping department, and the shipping department might go ahead and create a shipment. And so as they create a shipment, notice it'll go from the sales order on the screen as it executes it, and it will open a screen for the shipment function. So here we have the shipment, the Acer computer. We see, what its quantity is, and we can go along and look at the packaging for it. So it's a medium box, and here's the size, and here's the weight. So once we get this packed up and wrapped up, then we can go to confirm shipping. Now, there's two interesting things here that we want to take note of when we confirm the shipping. This is really telling Acumatica, I now have a box in front of me, and it's ready to be shipped. And so Acumatica has gone out based on the ship to that we picked and gotten a tracking number for that shipment. It has also produced the shipping label here. that you can now print right from here, slap it on the box, and send it on its way. All of this included by default in the base system. There are no fee for add-ons being shown here at this time. Okay, we're just going to come back here a little bit. We're going to go to sales orders, and I'm just going to show you this real quick. If we go to carriers, here is where we were able to set up our carriers, and you set these up based on who you are shipping with. And then when you come into it, you will see that you can configure this. Here we have our Easy Post API. We're in test mode, but we have our key here in test mode. We have its UPS and our company branch and all the other information that's necessary to price a shipment. And then it combines that with the size of the box, the weight of the item, which all come out of your inventory control configurations. And it can now go out and rate shop that all within the base system. So there we've shown it to you, a purchase order workflow that you can configure and a sales order that will rate shop for you, that will produce the shipping label for you, all within the base system. And I think that wraps up what I wanted to show you, and I'll turn it over to Stephen.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, so we actually do have a few questions that came in at this time too. We'll open up the chat box. So if you guys do have any questions, please feel free to write them and we'll answer and ask them out loud. One of the questions that came in while you were doing the demonstration is, does Acumatica have a similar functionality to Dynamics GP Smart List?
I will take that. The answer to that is yes. We have what are generic queries. So it's a little bit smarter. You don't have to be as technical as working with the smart list, but you can build those queries and put them in as data views. You can add them to dashboards or put them on wherever you need to put them. So the answer to that is yes.
Perfect. Another one that came in is, does Acumatica have any AI tools?
I'll grab that one. Yes, in that list in the initial presentation, Acumatica has created their own AI engine and inserted it into the most current version. They also have machine learning where you can come in and have it script a function, and then you can open it and modify it. So, as an example, if you created that purchase order and it went through approval, you could have the system automatically send an email out, as an example. And that's machine learning. And that's over and above the AI engine that they have installed in version 2025 R1.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Is Acumatica compatible with Smart Connect?
I'm not sure I know what Smart Connect is, so I apologize for that. It does have an open API, and so anything that can talk to an open API could be tied into it. There are a whole variety of third-party products and a whole variety of inter connectors available for it, but I don't know if that one in particular is compatible.
Okay, and it looks like just on time we had one more question came in. It says, what underlying database is used by Acumatica? Is there a defined migration plan for existing GP instances? Is there a company entity equivalent to what GP uses? So a little loaded question, but we'll make that the final one.
Well, I'll take the database one. It is a SQL database. And Lisa, do you want to take the other one?
The other question
Yes,
besides the
is
SQL
there a
database?
defined migration plan for existing GP instances?
No, we don't have a predefined migration plan, but we have decades of experience with migrating, and we are experts in both Great Plains and Acumatica. So we'll create the plan according to your requirements.
Okay. So at this time too, we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you guys do have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Lisa Curl at lisa.curl@dynavistics.com. We do plan on having a recording for this webinar, so please give us a day or two, but we'll have a link ready to share with your team. Thank you guys all again for joining us today. Please don't hesitate to contact us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar session.